Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. Sharon Lawrence has always been known as a performer with remarkable depth, a presence shaped by compassion, intelligence, and emotional insight. But what many people may not know is that her journey to the Hallmark channel was not simply a career decision or a shift toward lighter, feel-good storytelling. Instead, it was an evolution born from something deeply personal, the responsibility, the heartbreak, and the humanity that came with becoming a caregiver for her loved ones. When Sharon recently shared how family caregiving redirected her creative path, fans were moved by the sincerity in her voice. She explained that during some of the most difficult chapters of her life, when family members were facing health challenges and the weight of daily caretaking fell heavily on her shoulders, her perspective changed. She began to see storytelling as more than entertainment. It became a bridge, something that could offer comfort, connection, and emotional clarity when everything else felt overwhelming. She discovered that the Hallmark channel, with its themes of hope, healing, and forgiveness, aligned perfectly with the emotional truth she was living every day. She talked about the moment caregiving became the center of her world. Instead of being on a set from morning to night, she was at hospitals, doctor appointments, and living rooms transformed into medical spaces. She found herself navigating phone calls, medications, endless paperwork, fears, and uncertainty. And in those moments, something shifted inside her. She began noticing how the smallest gestures, holding a hand, sharing a meal, listening without rushing, became lifelines. Those quiet acts of love created their own stories she wanted to explore through her work. As she stepped deeper into the role of caregiver, she started to realize that many families go through these emotional battles silently. Caregiving requires strength, yes, but it also requires vulnerability and honesty. It forces people to face change, illness, and loss while still finding a way to move forward. Sharon felt compelled to bring these themes into the characters she portrayed. She wanted to give people the sense of reassurance she herself searched for during long nights filled with worry, and that desire quickly became a guiding force in her career. She shared that the Hallmark channel reached out to her at a time when she was seeking stability, creatively and personally. They offered her roles that not only valued her skills as an actor, but resonated with the heart and emotional truth she'd gained from real-life caregiving. She found herself drawn to scripts centered on community, gentleness, and emotional rebirth, roles that mirrored the very things keeping her grounded during her family's health struggles. And Hallmark, known for telling stories filled with kindness and second chances, felt like a natural home for the type of work she wanted to create. Sharon described how working on Hallmark productions became therapeutic. Instead of stepping into worlds filled with chaos or harsh conflict, she stepped into stories where human connection mattered, where characters worked through challenges with empathy, and where resolution and hope were always possible. She explained that after spending so much of her life navigating the weight of medical decisions and the emotional strain of caregiving, being able to portray characters who find healing offered her a sense of balance. It allowed her to share parts of her personal journey through her performances, turning hardship into art. She also acknowledged how many viewers watching Hallmark movies are dealing with quiet struggles of their own. When she received letters and messages from fans saying her characters made them feel understood or less alone, she felt a renewed purpose. She realized that caregiving had expanded her understanding of compassion, and that depth translated into the roles she took on. In many ways, she viewed it as giving back, using her platform to create a gentle space for people navigating grief, change, or emotional exhaustion. In interviews, Sharon spoke about the importance of representation in storytelling. Caregiving is often discussed in private, rarely highlighted on screen in a way that honors the emotional reality behind it. She wanted to challenge that silence. She began advocating for characters who reflect the unseen heroes of everyday life, people who juggle work, family, and caregiving without recognition. She believed that by bringing authentic emotional experiences to her Hallmark roles, she could help others feel seen, respected, and valued. She recalled moments at home where she would pause to reflect on how profoundly caregiving had changed her. Working closely with doctors and nurses gave her newfound admiration for medical professionals. Watching a family member struggle through recovery or decline taught her patience and humility. Facing the fear of what might come tomorrow forced her to embrace the present moment more deeply than she ever had. All these experiences shaped her creative voice, grief, and uncertainty. But even through the most painful moments, she found meaning in the bond it strengthened within her family. She realized that caregiving is a love story, one built not on grand gestures but on loyalty, commitment, and compassion. And she felt that the Hallmark Channel was one of the few platforms willing to fully embrace that kind of emotional truth. She talked about specific days on set when she carried memories from home into her performances. When a character delivered a comforting line, she thought of the nights she comforted her family members during difficult times. When a scene required emotional release, she drew from the moments when she felt overwhelmed but kept going because someone she loved needed her. These connections enriched her performances, giving them a depth that audiences recognized even if they didn't know the personal story behind it. She emphasized that joining Hallmark wasn't about seeking lighter work. It was about seeking meaningful work. It was about storytelling rooted in empathy. Caregiving had shown her that life is fragile and that compassion matters more than anything else. She found herself gravitating to stories that uplift, stories that remind viewers of resilience, and stories that show how love can guide people through even the darkest moments. Hallmark offered her that creative space. Sharon shared that caregiving also taught her something about self-care and balance. She learned the importance of protecting her emotional well-being and finding moments of peace amid the chaos. And through her work with Hallmark, she discovered that acting could be a form of healing, not just for audiences, but for herself. She embraced characters who explored forgiveness, healing, and family, bringing her personal insights into every frame. Today, Sharon continues choosing roles that reflect her values and her emotional journey. She remains committed to telling stories filled with hope, stories that uplift rather than overwhelm. And she credits caregiving for giving her the clarity and purpose that guide her career. In sharing her story, she opens the door for countless others to recognize the emotional complexity and quiet strength behind caregiving. She reminds audiences that every person facing caregiving responsibilities deserves compassion, understanding, and moments of joy. And through her work at Hallmark, Sharon Lawrence continues to honor that message, offering viewers a sense of comfort, one heartfelt story at a time. Come back to our channel for all your updates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.